So sorry if this video is jiggly, but wanted to do some reverse hill walks, whatever you want to call it. So been dealing with some physical ailments, some knee issues, and trying to get more out of this body and enjoy long years and hopefully many grandkids to come. It made me think about, what are you doing today in order to plan for the next 5, 10 years? And are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of your team? Are you taking care of your family? Are you taking care of your spiritual life? There's so many things that I've been looking at, so many gurus where, talk about your health or talk about your mind or talk about your wealth, and, really kind of focusing in on what are those 3 key components. And I have a video that I was working on, and I don't know if I really described it in the best way I possibly could, but, the rule or the law of 3 for me kind of started, looking at it a few years back, where I was like, you know what? I have this mind and God gave it to me, and it's been, something that's been incredible, that I've been able to think of things and utilize it for just in the business world and, in sales and marketing and all these kind of strategies. And a lot of people tell me that, hey, your mind works very differently. It's not the same as, or they say, be really interesting to take a tour in your head. I'm like, it's a very dangerous place. You wouldn't want to be there. And, but the part of that is, what are you doing to feed your mind? How are you training your mind? How are you getting into different subject matters and really kind of going, okay, like, how does this thing work? I just saw Mel Robbins. She had a guest on, and what they were talking about happened to be, I think, a Harvard professor, and she was talking about this amazing study they did with cleaning ladies. So they're group A, group B, and the cleaning ladies were told that one group was told that they are doing physical exercise. And when you're doing the work of, making the bed or cleaning the showers or doing whatever, it's physical exercise. And then the other group was told nothing. And they all pretty much did the same thing. They ate the same thing. And the amazing result was, the ones that believed that they were doing exercise lost weight and gained muscle. That's your mind. That's your mind at work. That's the power of the mind. And I've listened to a lot of stuff that sounds a little woo-woo, and a lot of stuff that sounds like, well, that's too good to be true. It's your mindset. So in this season, check your mindset. And then thinking about your body. What are you doing with your body? Are you eating bonbons sitting on the couch? I love doing that too. I've never eaten a bonbon in my life. I have no idea what that is. But there's other things that I love, like ice cream. And, I'm kind of a plain vanilla. Haagen-Dazs is my favorite. But at the end of the day, I know that if I have so many spoonfuls of that, I'm going to have to do some extra work and so on and so forth. And right now, I'm really trying to focus in on treating my body right, so it'll treat me right for the next 5, 10 years and beyond. And I've seen some amazing transformations. I've had some in my life when I really focused, but at this stage of the game, I want to enjoy life, but I also don't want to have to pay too bad of consequences. So I've cut my coffee consumption, not necessarily down, but changed the whole recipe. So I only use half and half, none of the fruit creamers. I either use honey or monk fruit. I measure out how much half and half, basically 2 tablespoons. I measure out exactly the honey, 2 teaspoons, or 1 teaspoon, for just a standard cup. And the whole idea of it was, I used the Yucca app and I said, what is all this stuff in here and why am I putting it into my body? My body doesn't need that. All I want is good flavor and something that's not just black coffee, And then the other thing that I was looking at in terms of my body is, like, I've been in the gym, I've set some goals, I've attained some of those goals, but I keep putting on the pounds. And, I've got lots of steps. I do, different types of therapy and my flexibility is going way down the last couple of years. And a lot of it has to do with injury. So you got to take care of that body because it's the only one you've got. And so from there, looking at the spirit or the soul. And that was one thing that has been a journey for a long time for me. For those of you that don't know, I'm 30 years clean and sober. And that doesn't mean I'm better than anybody else. That just means that I was saved from addiction. And Jesus did that for me so many years ago. And I share that with people, and I want to share that with you. But the goal of figuring out that whole spirit aspect of, when you're doing right, when you're doing wrong. There's no questions asked. And don't sit in judgment on that, because first he's the tempter, then he's the accuser, right? And I've been in that vicious cycle a lot in my life. And then I realized, we're coming from a place of victory. I heard this gentleman talked about it today, saying, look, he's not coming back to save anybody. That's already happened. He's coming back in victory. And so he's coming back as a warrior. And I love that part about it because, I think that some people forget about who Jesus really is. And if you don't know him, ask a friend, find out, leave a comment below. Be happy to have a conversation with you. Sorry, I'm just checking to make sure I don't fall off the curb over here. But anyways, sorry for the shaky video. Wanted to put this out as I'm just living life. And that's kind of what this is going to be about. It's helping with sales and marketing, but ultimately it's more about if you're not in the right mindset, if you're not taking care of your body, and if you're not feeding your soul the good stuff, you're not going to be useful to anybody. And I say that out of love and care for each and every one of you. I thank you for taking the time to even watch and listen to me, because who am I? But I just sit there and I say, Lord, just give me the guidance to say something that might touch somebody and really help them overcome a struggle, because he is the great overcomer. He is the one that gave me the option, and I took it, and I said, I don't want to live a life smoking cigarettes 2-3 packs a day. I don't want to live a life of drinking and drugging and lying and stealing and all that stuff. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey. It's not all been sunshine and rainbows, but it has been all about faith, hope, and love. And guys, that's what my prayer is. My hope is for you, is that you just find, the one that gives you that faith, hope, and love in Jesus. Amen. Have a good night. Talk to you later.